Nobody believes you. No one at this committee believes you. Canadians don't believe you. Fess up. The gig is up.
Welcome back to Moose on Loose. Today, we've got an update on the Randy situation. If you're not familiar, Randy Boissonnault, one of Justin Trudeau's ministers, has a PPE company, a protective wear company that he said he has nothing to do with ever since he came into the government in 2021. He has a second person in that company. It's a two-person company. Stephen Anderson is this other guy. Because of the digging of the Conservatives in the Canadian government here in Parliament over the summer, they've got text messages with Randy's name in it multiple times, 9 times. And Stephen Anderson says that's not the Randy, it's another Randy. And Randy says it's not him in the text messages. Yet it's a two-person company that owns this. In total, I think they have 121 people who work at this company. None of the people who work at the company are named Randy. There's only one Randy, and it's Randy Boissonnault. So that's the sum up here. We've got some updates here on this and some extra footage. So first off, here's a little update clip. And then we've got a couple of committee videos that really digs in on this Canadian Parliament situation here. So this here is Stephen Anderson. This is Randy Boissonnault's business partner. And it's funny because you'll see that they pretend like they don't talk, they don't have anything to do with each other, yet they're the two who have this company together. I should note, Randy said he sold all his shares in the company, has nothing to do with it either now.
This is Stephen Anderson, an Edmonton man who used to be business partners with Randy Boissonnault, Canada's employment minister.
As Krista Hesse from Global News, I admit that I did panic when she said, "Is there another Randy?"
So you lied?
To the reporter, I did, yes.
How much did Minister Boissonnault pay you for your silence?
Mr. Chairman,
How much did he pay you?
I have not had no communication with Minister Boissonnault.
There's only one Randy who's been involved in your company. You've said his name is Randy Boissonnault. You, sir, are the person who said Randy's name.
With regards to the infamous text message featured by a Global News story, the other Randy, I hope the members of the committee can understand that this was an unfortunate autocorrect suggesting it was Randy.
Is it your testimony today that how many times do you say it? 9 references to Randy? Every one of those 9 is an autocorrect?
Yes.
It was Randy Boissonnault. It was Randy Boissonnault, who was the Randy that was in Vancouver.
As I've told you, Mr. Chairman, Randy was not involved after September of 2021, and it was an autocorrect.
But you,
up until September of 2021, was Mr. Boissonnault.
And then you replaced him with another Randy.
As I've told you, it was an autocorrect for another company. There's 5 individuals that would be involved in any decision deal making that we were making.
Who are they?
One was Shauna Parker, one was Felix Papineau, one was Edward, and the last one I won't name. I simply will not name them just based
Randy
on the turmoil.
You are a self-admitted liar. You lack any credibility whatsoever.
So this is really blown up to be something quite scandalous as a government story in the Canadian government parliament, which we're delivering in a very friendly and nice manner here on this Moose on the Loose channel. So without further ado, let's jump into the in-depth clips on these and really show what went on in committee here. So first off, we got Larry Brock here. It says Boissonnault business partner has 0 credibility. Nobody believes it's autocorrect. Nobody believes it's another Randy. This cover-up is over. Time for the truth. Is the business party Randy Boissonnault, yes or no?
You are a self-admitted liar. You lack any credibility whatsoever. It really begs the question, how much did Minister Boissonnault pay you for your silence?
Mr. Chairman,
How much did he pay you?
I have not had no communication with Minister Boissonnault.
You've only had one other partner in your entire operation with GHI and GHS. You've confirmed that is Randy Boissonnault. The word partner in all of these email exchanges was never auto-corrected, was it? Was it?
There was no email communication.
I'm talking text messages. The word partner in text messages was never auto-corrected, was it?
It was not referring to Randy Boissonnault.
You've had unusual contract wins. You've had a half a dozen lawsuits, nearly $8 million in court-ordered debts. civil allegations of fraud, a fire 16 days after at a warehouse by 3 arsonists. Yesterday, we learned you got into business with a Dominican drug dealer. Nobody believes you. No one at this committee believes you. Canadians don't believe you. Fess up. The gig is up. The only other Randy that was auto-corrected, according to you, 9 times was, in fact, Minister Randy Boissonnault. Admit it.
Mr. Chairman, it was not Randy Boissonnault.
Who was it?
As I have said at my opening statement, I am happy to provide the individual's name in question.
Not good enough. Gowie's understanding, according to their communications with you.
Mr. Brock.
The guy needs to name the name then. Basically, he wants to get out of there and he's like, oh, I'll supply in writing, and then just not supply in writing, or he'll send in Randy. This is such a big fraud scam. This is ridiculous. If we look at the comments here, frustrating stuff. See you in September. If it was autocorrect, why did he not send an asterisk with the correct word or else signal that it was incorrect? Exactly. This is just a bunch of nonsense. No one would let something autocorrect send the wrong thing 9 times. Just arrest already. I'm sure this guy is happy to go to men's prison. This is such a joke. Just arrest them. But that's not where it ends. We've got another clip here with Michael Barrett, and it says a wild exchange between Michael Barrett and Randy Boissonnault's business partner, Stephen Anderson.
And we're going to go back to Mr. Barrett for 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Minister Randy Boissonnault's office is quoted in media reports saying that Minister Boissonnault was at a cabinet retreat in Vancouver. The Liberal cabinet retreat was in Vancouver, September 6th to September 8th, 2022. Mr. Anderson, you've said that you had offices in Edmonton. You said today that you had offices in Edmonton and Cpac. But text messages from you from September 6th, 2022, where you say you need to update Randy on the wire transfer because the West Coast is closing in 7 minutes and Randy is in the Vancouver office. Do you know what Randy was in Vancouver on that date?
No, I did not know that he was in Vancouver.
Well, who was the Randy that was in Vancouver?
As I've told you, Mr. Chairman, Randy was not involved after September of 2021, and it was an autocorrect.
But I don't think I want to get into asking you what you think an autocorrect is, but I can tell you that this isn't that. This isn't that.
That's absolutely wild to have your defense be autocorrect. Yeah, it autocorrect. That's really convenient. You could say that for anything. Oh, I typed this word, but it's actually this completely different word that has nothing to do or even looks like the word Randy. Yeah. How credible is that, really? If that went in front of a judge, are they going to believe that? That's absolutely ridiculous. So he has admitted that he lied to the reporter, but oh, no, I wasn't lying here. No, it was definitely autocorrect. This is more of the same from the Trudeau Liberals, and anyone connected to the Trudeau Liberals. It just goes to show, you know, who these people hang out with. Randy Boissonnault, this is his business partner. Clearly, he knows this guy, and he wanted to go into business with this guy.
It was Randy Boissonnault. It was Randy Boissonnault. There's only one Randy who's been involved in your company. You've said his name is Randy Boissonnault. You, sir, are the person who said Randy's name. Is it your testimony today that how many times do you say it? 9 references to Randy? Every one of those 9 is an autocorrect?
Yes. Randy Boissonnault was not involved with our operation or in any business relation after September of 2021.
Well, you certainly have said 2 different things. So were you lying then, or are you lying now?
I am not lying in regard to Randy not being involved with the business after September of 2021.
I don't believe you. So we'll just get that out of the way because your story doesn't add up. So we have the reference in the text message of your 121-person company, and you talk about Shauna, Felix, and Randy. So you can tell us who Shauna is, you can tell us who Felix is, but you can't tell us who Randy is, or you won't tell us who Randy is. That's because it's Randy Boissonnault. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, no, it is not correct. And I will go on to say that I will not tell the person's name simply because Shauna Parker and Felix Papineau, after everything that has happened, they are in the same litigation that we are involved in as employees of the organization by this particular individual.
Sir, just so you're aware, it's not your choice whether or not to answer the question. So you must answer the question fully and truthfully.
Mr. Barrett, I am being truthful.
Or not answering the question, which you are not doing, is a contempt of this committee. And there are consequences for contempt. So you have an opportunity today to clear the air and to say who the other Randy is. But the reason you're not saying it is because it's Randy Boissonnault. Is that right?
Mr. Chairman, no, that is not correct. And as I have said, I will fulsomely give you all the information in regard to Randy, to this committee, within camera.
Sir, you had a deadline in June to provide us with communication records. You didn't do it. And the reason you didn't do it is because we would have seen these text messages that implicate the only Randy who's worked at your company. It's Randy Boissonnault, a 121-person company. Who bought the interest in the business that was held by a numbered company that was owned by Randy Boissonnault?
No one.
So media reports that in June, Randy Boissonnault sold his numbered company, sold his interest in GHI. Is that correct?
I found out about that, Mr. Chairman, yesterday when there was an update to the global story that Randy had dissolved his shares. We have not had communication, and I have contacted my lawyers this morning to find out if that is the case.
Okay. Now, is that Randy that you're talking about, Randy Boissonnault?
So Mr. Chairman, I didn't bring up Randy's name that time. You asked a question. Did I know that Randy sold his shares in the company? Boissonnault. And I did not know that he had sold his shares from the numbered company.
Okay.
So this guy's telling us that he didn't know that Randy sold his shares in the company, yet it's a two-person company. Like, really? Are we... This is absolutely ridiculous. We can all smell the stink that's coming off this. You've got to wonder, do the Conservatives have any other ways of pushing this further? It seems they've got everything they need, but this guy just won't tell the truth. He won't fess up. Randy's been awfully quiet about this too. So something to note here that Michael Barrett is doing, which is really smart. He's asking details about the other Randy as if he's treating it like it's another person. And he's trying to get Stephen Anderson here to slip up and accidentally admit that Randy Boissonnault is the other Randy. So he's almost trying to kind of just get it so complicated that he has to slip up. It's a smart tactic. He almost fell for it. You could see he stopped for a second and then he just starts thinking he starts talking about his lawyer and stuff. This is so obvious to anyone who's watching this.
So I just have to recap for you here. Your words talk about Randy in the Vancouver office. Your words, you talk about Randy on the partner call. Multiple times, 9 separate times. Your words that there's only one Randy who's worked at the 121-person company. And your claim today is that it's not Randy Boissonnault.
Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
That's just not credible.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrett.
So Randy sold his shares in that company. He's trying to get out of it. This guy's lying for him. This is ridiculous. Lies, lies, lies. This person was a hockey coach. The former hockey coach team. Wow. What was he typing that would autocorrect to Randy? Good question. Ronald McDonald? I swear is going to my friend Ronald McDonald at the Golden Arches. Stephen does not get to dictate the terms and conditions of his testimony. He says he'll only answer these questions in camera. Yeah, I don't think so. A little time in the slammer should set him straight, figuratively speaking, of course. These comments. Stephen is lying. This is all great, but nothing's going to happen with these liberal liars. They get away with everything. Normal, everyday Canadians, though, no, you can't do anything. Next up, we got this. Mark Zuckerberg, an outspoken critic of man-made climate change, shows off his $300 million yacht, a 287-foot mega yacht powered by 4 gigantic diesel engines. Just doing it to save the planet, right, Mark? Yet another stark reminder that net zero is only for the peasants. The mega wealthy and powerful will continue to enjoy lives of excess and opulence while you subsist on cockroaches in your 15-minute eco prison. There it is. The big Facebook yacht. That's ridiculous. That thing is like... Does anyone really need that? Like, that's too much. Like, if I had that kind of money, I couldn't in good conscience spend it on that. when you could quite literally change the lives of like millions of people, if not, well, hundreds of thousands. Climate change is a manufactured issue to create more government control. The richest 1% produce more CO2 than the poorest 66%. Yeah, I saw that fact once. That's interesting. I'll start believing it's a crisis when the people saying it's a crisis start acting like it's a crisis. There you go. What a comment. Next up, we got this clip here, which is pretty funny. It says, Pierre has been door knocking since he first ran in 2004, which was unheard of back then. Again, Trudeau trying to emulate Pierre's style and failing, as you have to be genuine and not an actor. Okay, we're just gonna mute that music. It's just this like stock cheesy music. He does talk to someone here. Oh, share a couple laughs. This is so, like, look at this guy. Like, yeah, I think this guy actually says something.
Isn't it surprised? I never expected a prime minister to come to my house and I'm honored to be.
Yeah, right. Like, Trudeau knows the camera's pointed at him, and this guy, he is shocked. He's like, oh, what's Trudeau doing here? He's like, I'm here to get your money. Cough it up, slugger. Like, these videos are just embarrassing to watch. They're just so forced and so fake. Never seems to make it to my house or any Liberal/NDP coalition for that fact. We got this clip here of Jenna Sudds. This is Trudeau's Minister of Families.
At the heart of everything that our government does is our commitment to Canadian families and our commitment to affordability for Canadian families and fairness for every generation.
Fairness for every generation. That's their commitment. Affordable for families. What we've got today is their vision of affordable, folks. You heard it right here from Jenna Sudds. But not the future generations. They have to pay all the debt the Liberals created. Yeah, there it is. That comment says it all. They're distributing wealth. Pure 100% gaslighting from the party that has broken our country. Yep. Next up, I want to show this clip here, which I thought was very interesting. So this is the route Canada's going. We've got a guy living in this box on his bike. So technically it's a bicycle. This is very smart, very clever. I don't know if this guy has issues being this being a bike, but check this out.
Is it just me? Or does somebody else live inside of a bicycle? In my bike, got a desk, got a microwave, power, got a bed, storage underneath the bed, little toilet.
Is this a legal bike? I don't know. This is what Canadians are having to do now, though, because the cost of living is so expensive. Innovative, but sad. I tell you, if you could buy this for a few $1,000s, I think a lot of students, a lot of people would rather have a place to live that doesn't cost them $2,000 a month, when really, say this costs $2,000 period, you'd be saving, you know, thousands, $20,000 a year just living in this. Get a gym membership to Anytime Fitness or something. You can go in there after hours, have a shower, work out, stretch out, whatever, get a place to go out, get out of your little box here, and then you can just lock this up wherever you are. It's sad though, like shouldn't be what Canadians have to live in, you know, having a bucket underneath your bed there, and then it's a new way of living. I mean, if you're a student, you know, I could see this a bit, but this is not how Canadians should be living. It says tinyhomes.ca if you want to check it out. Next up, we've got this interesting video here. Apparently, Melanie Joly, this is Trudeau's Minister of Foreign Affairs, has randomly just jumped up out of her seat and went to China for a meeting and basically didn't tell anyone about it.
Canada's Foreign Minister Melanie Joly is on a rare and surprise trip to China. Today, she met with her Chinese counterpart in Beijing. It's the first time in 7 years Canada's top diplomat has traveled there for face-to-face talks. A senior government source told CBC News the meeting was constructive and productive. China issued its own statement acknowledging tense relations, but said this is not what China wants. The relationship turned south in 2018 when China detained two Canadians, Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor. It was further strained by allegations of Chinese interference in Canada's last two elections.
Minister Joly was able to raise the issue of interference in Canadian election by the Chinese government. The communique says that Canada will continue to defend our democracy, But what I find also positive is that the two sides have agreed to continue to discuss issues where there could be progress that could be made in terms of trade. And there, I think it's on the Chinese side, they are concerned about the possible imposition of tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, but also there was a reference to the fact that the two sides would look at ways to further improve people-to-people exchanges in terms of tourism and students. And in terms of tourism, China used to be the second largest of overseas visitors to Canada. I see that maybe this is a sign where we could see a resumption of larger flows of Chinese tourists to Canada, maybe in the near future.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So something to think about. Trudeau has basically put on the tariffs on Chinese EVs. Like BYD is the biggest one, I think, in China that makes EVs. And they've really just gone full into that. I think the Chinese government is supporting the company and has helped blow it up. But so Trudeau has put tariffs on those Chinese vehicles, those EVs coming into Canada. But doesn't that hurt your position of climate change, Justin? It's like, we need more EVs, but they can't be from China because then that goes against our plan. So does Justin Trudeau have shares in any of these companies in Canada that are building EVs is my next question. Does he own a shell company that owns shares in one of these companies? I don't know. Something to think about. It's very suspicious. You know, he says, oh, it's Canadian prosperity, blah, blah, blah. Justin Trudeau has never done anything that's for Canadians. He always does stuff for himself. That's how you have to view the lens of everything. Every action he takes anywhere around the world, you have to look at it a lens like that. How is he benefiting? And then you can start to put the pieces together and like, oh, okay, it's because he owns, you know, some numbered corporation. It's not that Justin, it's the other Justin. So next up, we've got this here. As I mentioned earlier, like, where are the names? We've got 11 of these traders that are unnamed in our country. Like, what kind of system do we have here? These people should have been named from day one. I'm guessing maybe one of them is maybe on here. I don't know. Maybe that one's right here somewhere. I don't know. Alrighty, jumping over to my group. Let's see what memes we've got today. We've got New India. I think right now that's kind of on the right half, not quite the left half yet. Actually, in Alberta, it's getting that way too. So we got this post here. It's interesting. It says she paid 6 months rent up front, and how can Canadians compete with that? Yeah, you can't. If you got people coming in with a lot of money and they'll say, here, I'll put down whatever, $25,000 or whatever the rent is for half, sort of 6 months. I mean, it just becomes a situation where Canadians get put last, and then Canadians end up living in their RVs at a rest stop outside of Abbotsford or whatever. Got this here, Canadian store forced to put up signs telling Indians not to wash their feet in the sinks. I mean, this is just a cultural thing, right? If one culture is so used to doing that and our culture is like, no, you can't put your feet in the sinks and wash them. Things like this are bound to happen when you're bringing in 1.4 million people from India every year. Now, one thing to think about is, why is Trudeau bringing in so many people from India? I've mentioned this before. It should be an equal pie chart. All the different countries, you get people from Vietnam and from Philippines and from Malaysia and from Madagascar, but they're not. It's all coming from India. And the only thing I can think of is, how is Trudeau profiting off this? Did he buy some shares in some samosa company? I say that with some friends and they all laugh, but it's like, it's true. The Indian grocery specifically getting sent to grocery stores, you've got frozen naan bread, pakoras, all this stuff. Does he have shares in that? Does he have a shell corporation that owns shares in the grocery providers providing that food? It's like cornering a market and then bringing in the customers. I don't know why he's so obsessed with India, and that's the country he's decided all the people need to come from, but it's very suspicious, and I bet you it's based on him profiting from it. Let me know in the comments down below. Somewhere between 1959 and 2022, things went horribly wrong. Men in denim built our country. Men in suits have destroyed it. The supply chain will supply itself. Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, Dumb and Dumber. It's global warm. It's summer. So that's where we wrap up this episode. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about that. Stephen Anderson, just guilty beyond belief. The whole situation it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a country. It's embarrassing. Like, someone should just walk in there, cuff this guy, cuff Randy, both throw them in jail. And when they want to finally talk and let out the details, they can. They can sort it out, prosecute them with their proper crimes, that they have been involved in and then be done with this. But instead, they're just lying. Randy dumps his shares. Oh, it's another Randy. I'll send you guys a text message. Yeah, I'll do it from Bali. Horribly corrupt, but that's what we got here with the Liberals. So thanks for watching the end of the video here. Be sure to subscribe here. And while you're at it, ring the notification bell. Get notified of all my videos here. We're going to keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.